Hey, what's up, Royaire?
How
you doing? A little snafu. I was like, wait a minute, the intro. Listen, it's only Monday. It's only Monday, okay?
Listen, running a show is hard. I be trying to tell the people, okay, think about it, people, all righty? First of all, welcome in the building. Welcome one, welcome all. We're glad you joined us tonight, but think about it, people, okay? We're our own producer. We're our own creative. We're our own thumbnail. We're our own entity. We are our own everything. We doing it all, people, okay?
So you know.
But it's always a pleasure doing it with you. That's what makes it fun the most.
Yes, it is. I truly, that's the best part of it. You are absolutely correct. Well, honey, I can't wait till we get on the level where we got some producers and we just got to come sit in the chair and do what we do.
The Lord is coming.
He's coming. Yes. It's from our mouth to his ears. Listen, but it's coming. But in the meantime, we got this. We don't have too many snafuls. We just got a little bit, okay?
Here we are.
And here we are. This is season 16 of RHOA, episode 14. The ladies is winding down because I believe it's only going to be 16 episodes, right? So 2 more are coming. Before we get into it, they was bragging about wait till Phaedra comes. Well, we waiting and she's here and I'm still waiting. They told us to wait.
You know, I feel like they set us up. You know, word on the curb is she only came in the last 2 weeks of filming. So, I mean, how much filming do you really have, you know? And then you got to try to fit in with this group, you know, that you really don't know. The newer people of the group, the majority of the group is new. So, yeah, this was...
But you know what? Shout out to Phaedra. She got a check. She came through the door.
Doing it, though.
What?
And she looking good doing it though, because her outfits, she's slaying the outfits.
She's slaying the outfits. She came through. Got her check at the 11th hour. I mean, you can't be mad at her. It is what it is. But I'm just like, I was waiting for the, you know, aha moment. I didn't see it yet.
Listen,
but that don't mean it ain't coming.
She the smartest one though, because listen, she got a half a check and Married to Medicine. Came on to Atlanta and got the rest of her check.
What? Wait a minute. No. Okay, that's right. She was into the. No, didn't she end the season on Married to Medicine?
No, remember she left and got on her private jet. They still had like 4 more episodes left. And she didn't show up to the reunion. So she coming out through this the last 4 episodes of Atlanta. So she got paid a full season and you're gonna get a reunion.
Boom. So you know what? You are correct. I forgot about that. You know, Phaedra, she needs to write a book on how you do reality TV.
Girl, Angela said you over here giving away all the gems, girl, when the book coming out.
Come on now, Angela, you better tell her to write that book. I ain't mad at her. But we about to get into this, Joy. You know we streaming on both channels, so please do us a favor. No matter if you're watching from Royaire's channel or mine, go to each other's channel and just hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, one of us, please go to the one you're not subscribed to and subscribe. This is a recap with Royaire and Diva, and I'm telling you, we do the best recaps. We gotta pat ourselves on the back, okay? Boom. And so this is season 16, episode 14, chapter 2, Renew. Because I think this trip is called a reset, renew, and rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
So we got the reset already. Now we on chapter 2. We knew. And I said, is Shakia low-key a mean girl? We'll get into it. You know, y'all tried to tell me, but you know, when I don't want to hear something, you know how I get. I don't want to hear it. I be like, I don't want to hear it. I be like, boom, 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 boom. I'm going to keep going down the road that I'm going down. And if I bump my head, I bump my head. But y'all tried to tell me about Shamea. I wasn't hearing it. And now I'm giving her the side eye.
Yeah, Shamea got me too. She got me. You know, normally I'm a good judge of character. I pride myself on that. But she got me. But you know what? I think, and honestly, it just goes to show society how it is to us. I think the money, the house, the cars, it caught up in my head. It got me caught up. And I was, you know, when this season first dropped, I was watching her podcast. I was seeing, you know, the work that she was doing out here. So it got me played up. And not to say that she's not a good person overall, because I really think she is. But some of the decisions that she's making on the show, some of the things that she's choosing to say. Have you been catching the after show?
I have not.
You think she's Shamea now? Wait till you watch that after show. It's solidified a Shamea girl. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to see, but I'm just like, But you know what, Royaire, go ahead and kick us off. Get this thing started. Get this party started. Hey, Juice, thanks for being here. Thanks, everybody. But go ahead,
everybody. Yes, thank you so much. Listen, before we move on, one more thing. If you can hit the share button for us, share with somebody that watches the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let them know we are recapping episode 14, chapter 2, Renew. So let's get right into this. So, you know, we're day 2 in Grenada, okay? Last night, you know, it was a night. You know, we were able to kind of smooth over some friendships in the group. You know, we see Portia and Drew laughing together, you know, making fun with one another, which is a beautiful thing. You know, all of the ladies are headed back to their rooms. And so we wake up this morning. Everybody seems to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, feeling good, feeling the vibes, you know, enjoying their peaceful morning. We're having, a few side conversations. Portia and Cynthia, Drew and Cynthia, they're sharing about their, you know, enjoyment of the night and how, you know, Cynthia says, you know, it looks like that you and Portia are kind of getting on good terms and, you know, and enjoying each other. And so that was a beautiful thing. You know, there was a conversation brought up about Brit, you know, not being able to hold her liquor, getting sick over the night, okay? She got sick on the bus, apparently headed back to the house. They had to pull over and get her together. Angela. As we all know, Angela celebrated her 8th anniversary on yesterday.
Number 8.
Home, trying to reach Charles on the FaceTime. Ring. The voicemail box is full. It cannot leave him. I mean, no way of getting in contact with Charles, okay? It got so bad that they just had to cut the scene and move on to the next people, okay?
Not your husband. And it's your 8-year anniversary. He ain't picking up. Where they do that at?
Cut the scene. We not putting this on the TV.
They said we ain't waiting no more for him to pick up. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. We not gonna wait no more.
Jesus. Wow. Okay, so the ladies all, you know, some of the ladies come down for breakfast. We have a few ladies down. I want to say Phaedra was down there. Phaedra. We had Shamea, we had Kelli, Brit, and Cynthia. And so, you know, Shamea had some concerns. You know, Shamea's kind of in her feelings in regards to how Brit was, you know, kind of talking to her, you know, and talking about her behind her back. You know, allegedly, there's been some conversation of Shamea being forced to, you know, give people shots or making people feel forced to take shots. And so Shamea, you know, was a little aggressive, or excuse me, what is the word? It was passive aggressive. She was very passive aggressive that morning, okay? You know, Shamea, Obviously, her luggage is still gone. You know, they can't find her luggage now, but she's got outfits that she brought with her. She's still looking good. You know, Phaedra said that Kelly's very loud and very boisterous, and she would like, you know, for Kelly to be so small, to lower your voice a little bit. Calm down. Cynthia says that she just cannot deal with all of the girls over talking one another. We need to be able to talk one at a time and hear what everyone has to say. You know, speaking of talking, you know, Brit got in her feelings yet again because last night when she had the crystal, she was not able to share her feelings and how she felt. And so the conversation was brushed along and she felt like nothing got resolved for her, okay? Mia was also confused on why Brit felt the need to bring up Apollo. You know, that was one of her questions, and she was a little concerned about this Black situation. So Mia had a lot of things that she wanted, some questions that she wanted answered, okay? You know, the ladies are headed out for their excursion of the day. So I'm gonna stop there and we can review this first.
Stop there, because it's a lot. You know, Cynthia and talking about, you know, Brit. I don't know why I want to confuse Brit and Kelly in my mind about Brit vomiting. Listen, I didn't like that. I didn't like when Shamea came downstairs and wanted to act. That's when I was like, oh, she a mean girl. But she came downstairs giving all these messages. Nobody's being forced to take a shot and this, that, that, and the other, and so forth and so on. I'm like, you know what? I said, she's raggedy. I said, she's raggedy. Because why would you sit there and with Bravo? First of all, Bravo needs to calm down. Child, that was hilarious. Yeah, when she said that in confessional, I said, girl, are you delusional? Like, listen, but when she came down there, when she was playing games with the shots about, you know, her not wanting to take shots, I just thought that was dreadful, because there's so many people that get become alcoholics. We see that a fellow Bravo star, Karen Huger, is in jail now for DUI. If somebody don't want to take a shot, don't take a shot. Why would you? I didn't like that. I felt it was very mean girlish, and I felt they was bullying her. I didn't like the way, I don't care how you feel about Brit, I didn't like the way they was treating her. I didn't like that whole conversation. I didn't like what Shamea was doing. I thought it was very mean, right? So now Angela calling Charles, I had secondhand embarrassment for her. Literally. I was like, here it is, your man. One, he know you doing a reality show, right? Two, you calling him. I would have told my man, listen, y'all know, you know I'm doing this show, and you know how they do with these things. When you see my name, you pick up. Because don't be playing me out. Pick up.
Not pick up immediately.
Pick up immediately. I mean, this man didn't even pick up the phone, and it's your 8-year anniversary. Like, this is crazy. And she's the one promoting the 8 years and announcing it. I told y'all still like Charles. He too laid back for me. Something is amiss. Something is amiss. I'm not liking it. He didn't pick up the phone call. Then she wanted to try to act like, you know, he was busy cooking dinner for the daughter and all this other stuff. Okay, Angela, whatever you say. You know, and she said, let me see what that was that. So Phaedra and Brit were downstairs at the breakfast, you know, talking to the chef or whatever. Kelly, Cynthia came. They talked about Brit vomiting. Phaedra talked about Brit not wearing no underclothes. You know what? I feel like, Royaire, that Phaedra came in, but because it was so far into the season, she couldn't find her place.
Yeah.
And she was giving kind of like manufactured messiness. You understand what I'm saying? It was nothing for her to really have beef with, and she was just giving manufactured messiness. Like when she was talking about Kelly and her big breasts in the confessional. I don't know. I just felt like, I'm like, Phaedra, you're bigger than this. We need more from you. This is stupidness right now, right? So it was just crazy. And I felt bad for Brittany. Like, I'm not a drinker. So, I mean, her saying like she's vomiting off of these shots. to me, I feel like they just should have handled that differently. That's just my take on that. So we could go ahead and get into the two groups and where they went and everything.
Yeah. So
now Angela said Charles looking like the Grinch. Angela, girl, that was painful. It was.
Yeah.
It was painful.
Yeah.
It was painful, and I know she was low key embarrassed. She was embarrassed.
I'm just gonna stand on the fact that they have a very unique relationship, and
you calling that unique? Okay, go ahead. Yeah, I ain't fooling with you.
Listen, the people love who they love. Okay, listen.
Okay.
She told Wendy to stay with her man, and she had a baby, so look, Angela can't leave her.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna roll with you. We're gonna call that thing unique. Okay.
So, Kelli and Shamea felt that, for the day's excursion, that the ladies should kind of be with someone that they were not roomed with and someone that they don't normally hang out with. Okay. So I thought it was a nice idea. In group one, we had Shamea, Cynthia, Portia, and Phaedra. And I thought that was super cute because it was like the oldies with the nudies. We got the oldie, all of these girls have been on Housewives. They're already kind of a friendship group already. And then we have, and so they're going to the waterfall down in Grenada. And so group two, we have Brit, Angela, Kelli, Drew, and they are going to the Kooking with Kelli moment of the day in Grenada. Okay, so for the car ride with group one, I'm gonna do their whole scene because it was kind of hard to break up. So with group one, Shamea, was not really understanding what Brit's issue was with her at breakfast this morning. And she asked Cynthia and the ladies, did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? And so, nobody felt that anything was done wrong. She didn't feel like she shaded Brit, and none of the other ladies did. She was just bringing up things that she had issues with. Okay. Shamea says that, it's embarrassing, for someone to show up with a Birkin bag and in their Rolls Royce to just only pull up with a box full of, things for donation and $250. She said, when we have the money we have, we need to show up and show out. Okay. We need to do better. And so the ladies were in agreement. Phaedra said no less than $1,000. You should show up ready. She said most of us pay $300-$400 to get our nails done, so that's the least we can do. Portia said she gave $1,000, and so she agreed. And Cynthia said, "Yes, I'm here for it." Shamea wants an apology from Drew for being called a lapdog. She felt like that it was unnecessary, inappropriate. She's tried to have several conversations. And, the fact that Drew stood on business and said, it is what it is. You went back and replied information that was not true. She's standing on it. And so at this point, it seems that her and Drew's friendship is still at a standstill because of that situation. Phaedra said that she really cannot get a read on Angela. She knows Charles very well. Now, her and Charles haven't hung out in about 10 years now, okay? But she said that Charles is the life of the party. And it's very unusual, for Charles to, be married, I guess, more so is how I took it. He'd be out here in these streets, is according to Phaedra. But she said, again, that was 10 years ago. So it could be a totally different situation now. But, he wasn't married then, so she doesn't know much about Angela. The ladies talk about meeting the prime minister tonight. And so they want to all agree that everybody needs to be on time. We don't need to be late. This is a special moment. He's taking out the time to meet with us, so we need to be there. They get to the waterfall, and once they get there, there's monkeys, there's flying lizards, there's, trees and everything. But it was a beautiful scenery. I loved, the scene that they shot, with the ladies. They're out there twerking and dancing and doing all of the most, Diva, like, okay. Do you go on girls' trips and twerk and do all of this? Or is this just a housewives thing?
I go on girls' trips. That they doing the most.
Okay.
But you know what, though? I think it's hard because they can't play music on, like, the show, really. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they can't play music. So it's kind of hard. I mean, I get it. They went to the waterfall, they was taking selfies and pictures. You know, that didn't bother me so much, but when you finish, I'll tell you what really bothered me.
You know, the ladies, they go to have a drink and lunch at the little cabana area. Phaedra shares that she's enjoying getting to know Brit. They do have a mutual friend together, but she thought it was weird that she brought up Apollo the other night. You know, she said that she wasn't invited to the event. Apollo nor his wife showed up to the event, so it was not even necessary for her to bring it up. And, you know, the ladies also agreed as well. Portia brought up the fact that Brit said that she doesn't feel that she's heard or supported in this group. And, you know, Portia feels in order to be a friend, you got to make a friend. She does not feel that Brit has given any real opportunities for the ladies to get to know her or her to get to know the ladies. You know, there was a text exchange between them and it didn't go so well. And so we'll deal with that a little bit later in that scene. Let's see. The ladies, Shamea wants to know what's going on with Black and Drew. Are they dating? Are they together? What's going on with that? And so Portia says, well, listen, they've got pictures together. They've been seen out together, you know, and I'm just telling you what I heard. You know, Dennis, she has told us previously, shared that he was not messing with her. She was messing with Black. And so that's how all of that got started. The ladies head back to the guard. Portia and Shamea, they're besties again. They're singing about being butt buddies and besties, and everything is all well between them. So I'll stop there and we can deal with that scene, or you want me to do group 2 as well?
No, let's do it because I ain't gonna remember. Let's deal with this group 1 scene. So I like the way that they split up the groups and it made sense, right? And nobody that's rooming together gonna go like on the different excursions together. They're going to split up. So I did like the split. I like the way they did the split. Now let's get into this conversation. I'm not one to be in anybody's pockets, right? And when you have a group of friends and then you have a group of friends where, you know, some people may be on the lower end, some people may be in the middle, some people may be in the higher end in terms of their pocket bracket, right, with their money. So with a situation as such, I think it's so unfair to say, oh, donation is a donation, right? And as long as our overall donation was not skimpy, and from the amount of stuff that was seen in Shamea's garage, no, that donation that they sent down to Grenada was everything. So the fact that somebody came up a little short or couldn't give $1,000, don't do that. So you want to talk about she came in her what was it, a Rolls Royce?
A Rolls Royce and her Birkin bag.
Her Birkin bag. First of all, you don't know if it's real. I'm not trying to even shade her, right? You don't know if the Birkin bag is real, and you don't know if that Rolls Royce was rented. I'm not one to be in anybody's pockets, but the fact that she came there and brought something, I think was good enough. And for you to be shaming her in front of everybody about what she brought, I thought it was very lowbrow. I just would never do that. I don't like that. And for that reason, to me, that began the thought process in my head that Shamea is a mean girl. Listen, Royaire, today I could be rolling in the dough, and tomorrow I could be needing to borrow some. Like Kim Zolciak, who was, you know, was clowning Candy for where she bought her house, but now she still has her house, and Kim is renting one. Like you to me, you just don't do stuff like that. You know what I'm trying to say? I didn't like that at all. And I'm sick of her dragging that donation conversation all the way to the dinner with the prime minister. I'm over Shamea. I thought that was messy, right? You know, the conversation with Portia and Charles, and you ain't speak to this man in 10 years. If you ain't speak to somebody in 10 years, you don't know what's going on in their life.
At
all. So I'm going to need you to shut up. I know you just got here, Phaedra, but you know what? Just sit back and get your check and wait till next season to fit in. But I'm not liking this nonsense that you're doing. I don't like the nonsense. You know what I'm saying? I don't like this nonsense that you're doing where you being shady when it comes to marriage. I say this. Let people marriage be. They never count nobody's money. Come on, Katara. I I don't care what the situation is between those two. Don't mess with somebody's marriage, okay? Angela came up here. This thing is a mess because now we find out too that Charles don't even wear his ring. This is whatever. Yeah, come on, Lorraine. I agree. That's why it's called charity. You get what you feel comfortable with. Shamea is not classy. Money doesn't buy you class. Come on. And what's the one from the real? Used to be from the Real Housewives of New York. She said, "Money don't." She made that song. Money don't buy you class. Okay.
Class.
Listen, let me tell you what I'm here for, Royaire. Whether they can sing or not, I am here for all of the Real Housewives music. I love it. Y'all, you did, Katrina, but you know what?
You told us. You definitely did.
But it took me a minute to catch up. But guess what? I caught up, and I don't like it. Yeah, never count anybody's money. So, and then when in Phaedra's confessional talk about monkeys are racist, I said, okay, this is what we waited for. Even Andy told us wait till Phaedra get there. So this girl could sit in a confessional and tell us monkeys are racist. I was done, Roy. I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, it was a lot. It definitely was a lot. You know, with the whole Shamea and the, you know, talking about what Brit brought, I totally don't agree that she should have done it and it was appropriate to do it. But at the same token, you know, that's why you can't count people's pockets and count people's money, because you do not know what people can afford to give and cannot give. But I also feel like don't go around flaunting and playing like you got all of this and you really don't. But then also I feel like it's really nobody's business to know what you got and what you don't got and what's real and what's not real. So I was definitely battling with that in my mind because I don't know.
It wasn't classy.
It wasn't classy at all. It was not classy. And yeah, it was very messy. It was very, very messy. And I you know, if you're on that level to give $1,000, yes, I feel like it should be no less. But you don't know what people have. You don't know what people dealing with. You don't know who people are taking care of.
We were taking the same thing. You don't know somebody's taking care of their mother, their father, their uncle, their cousin. So I don't like that. You know what's, for instance, Roya, this is just a side note. Mm-hmm. I have this black sweater like this, and I have a beige one like this. I don't know where I put my beige one, but darn near every live, and I'm washing this thing like every other day. I wear this sweater like this. I don't know what it is. This is my little go-to sweater. Yes. I just love spring, summer, fall. When I'm doing a live, I wear this sweater. The sweater is literally falling apart. Look. But yo, don't be doing that. Don't count nobody's pockets. Don't do that. You're so crazy. I love you though.
Oh my God, you are so funny. Listen, we are so real. This is why we the best recap ever, because we keep it 100% real. Like, you know, Shamea, it was dirty. It was wrong.
It was dirty.
And I totally understand. You talk about this girl pulling up in a Rolls Royce and carrying a Birkin bag and all of this stuff. You still do not know what people are bringing home. There are so many people out here living paycheck to paycheck, barely making it. Everybody is not in the same situation. And
listen, Royaire, even people with money are living paycheck to paycheck.
Yes. Taraji P. Henson is the perfect example.
Okay, don't get me on Taraji. Don't do that. Don't you try to start me up with Taraji. I ain't falling into that trap. I ain't doing it. Taraji,
we love you, girl. Keep on working.
Woo, child. She tried to dog Oprah out.
Lay her out. You hear me?
Talk about
you
Oprah.
See Danielle with Oprah still. Danielle still with Oprah and Fantasia.
Mm-hmm. Taraji talk about there was no chicken on the set.
Child.
No chicken and biscuits. Go ahead.
But, you know, I also wanted to address, you know, this whole black situation. Why are we so worried about what Drew is doing with who? Why?
Stupid.
It's so stupid. It's unnecessary. As we've been saying, is lapdog behavior. And I understand why she keeps saying it, because you're just doing stupid stuff for no reason. Yep. She has no real beef with Drew. You started off issues with Drew when you decided to ask whether her and Dennis were dating. That has nothing to do with you. No shade, not trying to be mean or anything like that. You have a daughter at home who is sick and has real life issues that you need to be concerned about and dealing with, versus who Drew is dating and who she's not dating, and what Brit can give and what she can't give. Why are those your concerns? I don't understand it.
I don't understand it either.
To be someone who is as well currently going through a divorce, you would think that you would have some grace and mercy with Drew. This whole situation of the Dennis sleeping with, like, all of this has just been BS, in my opinion, from the jump. And just like Shamea, you have found the issue to have with Drew over nothing. It's just nothing. And we don't have nothing else to talk about. And to make Phaedra like you and this Drusilla stuff, why are you coming for Drew? What has Drew done to you?
Nothing.
Why?
Nothing.
I did not I thought it was very, for these grown women who have been on the show for so long, it was just so like, why are we doing this? Like, y'all don't have nothing else to talk about. Phaedra, you ain't been here in what, 10 years almost? Has it been? It ain't been that long, but you know,
it's been long enough for, and this
long enough for you to have plenty to talk about and to share with us. Plenty.
That part. Like, tell us, why did you lie on Candy? The lies, the lies, the lies.
The shade, the shade, the shade.
Wait, yes. Phil Brooks, listen. But I love this sweater. Thank you. I appreciate you, Mel. Listen, but I love this sweater. I can't find another one like it. I love her.
Shout out to the sweater fun. What's that? For the month of June, we are giving to Diva Sweater Fun. Please feel free to drop $5 down in the chat on either channel, Royaire's World and Chronicles of the Gray Head Diva. $5 for the Sweater Fun. But yes, I thought, you know, just though that little scene, it was just like so immature, so petty, you know. Cynthia's over 50, Phaedra's right at, and Cynthia wasn't really a part of it, but you know, Phaedra's right at there at 50. Shamea, you got issues going on, and as well as you do, Portia, your husband is locked up with ICE. We need to be talking about y'all real lives and what's really going on.
That part, because he's still with ICE, right?
And you still can't film in your house.
Oh my God.
But you worried about what Drew doing.
And wait, before you go to the other group, Shamea got a lot of clothes that was in that carry-on.
Well, she said she had 3 outfits, so we only on day 2, right? Okay. And then her last outfit she borrowed from Portia, so
she did, and it looked cute on her.
It did look cute on her. I'm glad your friend finally decided to bring a friend to you and give you some clothes.
Child.
But
how the dress she gave Shamea looked better than the dress she wore, but we. I'm sorry.
So petty.
I'm just saying.
In group 2, we were going to Cooking with Kelli is what they entitled it. So, you know, Drew and all of them. We had Drew, Kelli, Brit, and Angela were all together in the car. Drew said that it's been exciting getting to know Phaedra, though she doesn't know Phaedra is in the other car shading her at the moment. Brit said that her and Phaedra share a mutual friend. She's really enjoying rooming with Phaedra. She's getting a lot of, you know, good information, some great conversation. She's enjoying it. Angela shares that she's happy to be here, but she does miss Charles, and she's glad that they made it to be in 8 years together. Drew asked Angela, you know, has she talked to Charles? She said, unfortunately, no, I have not, you know, but she hopes to talk to him later on today. we finally pull up to the event, the excursion, and so the ladies, they hop out the car, and so there is an outdoor little bar set up. We are at the excuse me, I'm gonna try to say this right, the Bijou estate, which was built in 1932. It is owned by a Black family, and it is also owned by the same Black family that owns a rum and distillery called Clark's Court Rum. So shout out to Black excellence. Shout out to the Black-owned businesses. Shout out to grandfather building this house in 1932, baby. This is a beautiful thing.
It is.
I thought that was so beautiful. And when I give you your opportunity to talk, I'm gonna pull up the website so that we can shout them out, and support our own businesses, support the Black businesses. So,
but Royaire, too bad they couldn't go in the house. They brought that table outside. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
They said, y'all not finna come and tear up our house. We don't know these girls.
No, they could not.
Also, they shared that, that they are still recovering. The business is still recovering from the hurricane and the storms. So maybe it was just maybe a safety hazard not to be able to go in. Maybe, I don't know. But, so okay. Don't shade the people of Grenada. You are shady. So, onward and upward with getting this business. They are still working on, there was a lot of damage done. And so they're still trying to get things back together and move in a positive direction. So, the ladies go on over to the area where it's time to cook. And let me tell you, Kelli is all involved, okay? When it comes to participation, Kelli gets an A, okay? Because she came in, she did her thing. Kelli shares with us, she is a cook, a chef. And so she likes going to other places and learning new recipes, and doing her thing, okay? So Kelli was totally involved in all of this. Drew, she got in there and kind of played around and helped out. Angela and Brit, they did their thing. The ladies all came and sat down, and they wanted to chit-chat a little bit while they ate. Kelli asked how the ladies were enjoying themselves. Brit opened up and said, she feels that she's having a great time. This is very refreshing. She's had friction with most people in the group, including Drew and Angela. And so it's nice that they've been able to kind of move past those things, continue to get to know one another and have a good time. Kelli said that she had a question for Drew. She wanted to know who Blackie is. And Brit said, are you dealing with him? Are you flirting with him? How's things going? And so Drew does share that this is strictly a friend. She is in the midst of a divorce. She would love to find love one day. And if she does, she's willing to shout it to the mountaintops. But until then, she's going to deal with what she's got going on. She's going to continue to be friends with Black. As she said, they have a friendship. That is all that it is to it, okay? Period, point blank. It is just a friendship. And so that ended off the ladies' scene with group 2. And so they headed back to the house, okay? So your thoughts?
My thoughts were that little cooking scene was messy. Because you got to accommodate everybody in your group when it comes to the food. Brit had to starve. Okay? I thought that was hecka messy. And especially because I don't eat meat.
Brit had the people starving at her event so she could starve it for what?
I guess that was low-key payback. That was messy. And they was just sitting there. They was rubbing Royaire. They was like, the flavor. This is good. I was like, yo, that was messy to me.
Listen, I'm sorry to you. But I'm going to eat.
And so I would have asked the guy can he cook a separate pot of the same stuffs that had no meat in it. I'm very accommodating when I think about my guests, especially I guess because I have a book club and there are vegetarians in the book club that was vegetarian way before me, and I just make sure that I have some food for whoever's gonna be there. I just thought that was messy. And I feel like they all are low-key treating Brit a certain kind of way. I don't know. I just didn't like that. You know, like you said, the black owned, alcohol. I thought that was a really nice thing. I like the fact that they did cook, and then they all sat down. And Britt said, she had problems with Drew and Angela, but she's liking the trip because she feels like, things are going, well or whatever. And then also, with this whole black thing and her dating, I'm just like, I understand why she's treading lightly with that, because not just Ralph, just all men are. I won't just even lean on men. Couples, when they're going through a divorce and they're going through it, a lot happens, and you got to be careful what you say and share, because that person will use every word you say against you in court. So I understand her treading lightly with this black conversation. And Portia was messy for bringing it up, because she's not talking about her husband, like you said. That's what Ice. And if people would have bring it up, I think she probably would have fell out. So, but that's my take on that scene. I just thought, I didn't like the way that there was no food for Brit to eat. I thought that was just classless again.
Yeah. Yet again, this whole Drew conversation, like I said with the other ladies, why are y'all so concerned?
Right.
Kelli, you got a $100,000, $150,000 divorce bill. How about we be concerned on how we gonna pay for that with our attorney?
Right.
You got 4 girls in a condo. Let's buy a home, honey.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be opening up this second restaurant that's still not open yet. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about things that matter. Here is the website, Diva.
I like it. Clark's Court, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I said Clark's Court, okay.
Yes. I said, okay, y'all got y'all. This is an all black owned brand, so people, make sure you go check out their website. Mm-hmm. They have some, expensive things and some inexpensive things. So go check it out, people. This is really nice.
It is nice. Yeah, check it out. This chick don't I don't what do you call it? Help me out.
Drink.
Mm-hmm. I don't drink, but hey.
It's been in operation since 1937. Okay.
Oh, shoot.
Okay, people. Well, shout out to us. So go check them out over there, y'all. We support black businesses, so go Grenada. So, as we all know, we have our second night. We have a group dinner that we are headed to, okay? So we are meeting the Prime Minister tonight. The ladies are, getting ready, getting dressed. And so the ladies come down, to the main house. And I think everybody looked very, very nice in what they had on. I love Shamea's dress. I love Phaedra's green dress. Mm-hmm. Kelli, I feel like Kelly's dress was too big for her, but it was a nice dress. It was a nice dress, very befitting for the scene that they were in. They were in the jungle, so it was giving jungle feels, jungle vibes.
With that big white flower, you saying?
Yeah, we out here in the wilderness, so they have flowers in the wilderness, right?
Yeah, no, I'm here with you. I'm hanging in there.
I can't. Okay, so as the ladies are down, or some of the ladies are downstairs talking, guess who finally gets a hold of their husband? Angela is having a nice little having a conversation with Charles, and so, she shares that she misses him, and do you miss me? And, Charles is like, really? Like, we gonna do this? She says that she wanted to kiki and talk to her husband. We've been married for 8 years. You didn't miss me? He was like, it is what it is. Like, 8 years. She asked him for some advice. He said,
let me just say this to you real quick, Royaire. I would stay single before I would have a husband like Charles. He's like, whatever. Like, yo, there's people not making it. Y'all made it 8 years. Like, are you serious right now? He is the worst, if you ask me.
Oh my God. It was so just cringing. Like I was literally in the background, like cringing, like, oh my God, someone please save her. Like
Save her.
Cut the cameras, cut the scene. Like this is so, and I hope that he watches back and like changes his ways, because this is a lot, sir. This is a lot. This is a lot. So, you know, he told her not to get in anything, you know, just stay in her lane, do her. She took her little advice and she went on about her business. You know, down in the kitchen, you know, yet again, Shamea and Brit, they're having a little tussle back and forth, you know, in regards to this whole drinking situation and feeling pressured to drink. You know, Shamea said nobody has to take a shot if they don't want to. I'm not pressuring nobody to do anything. You know, I've been told that, you know, I was making people feel pressured to do stuff, and I just don't want nobody to feel pressured, okay? And so Cynthia was very confused about what was going on. You know, it was just a lot going on. Brit feels that we're ladies. We're wives. Well, at least some of us are. We don't need to be taking shots. We're not in college. That's for the college girls, okay? You know, Shamea, she went on about her business and left out the door because they are just not seeing eye to eye. And we got to get on to meet to the prime minister, okay? So the ladies, they head to the van. As they're heading in the van, Cynthia bumps into Portia. Portia's getting ready to hop in the van. Cynthia steps back with her big feet and steps on Portia's feet. I thought that was hilarious. She was like, dang,
hilarious. Hilarious.
Going to meet the prime minister, she ain't gonna have no middle toe. So we get to the dinner, and the ladies, they kind of shared their excursion moments, you know. So we're talking about how the excursion was, who did what, and we had a good time, and blah, 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 blah. You know, Kelli shared how it was nice to be able to visit, you know, after the hurricane, and be able to come and give and, you know, help everyone here and, you know, to do great in the community. She wanted to thank everybody for coming and doing so. You know, she did throw a little shade, you know, to the ladies that did not, or the lady rather. And so she said, you know, she just feels that Brit did not have an understanding of what really needed to be done. This is not something she normally does. And so this was just a learning lesson for her. You know, Portia shared that, you know, in this group, you know, in order to, you know, get with people, you got to kind of follow through with everybody. She gave $1,000, and she felt it was most appropriate to give $1,000. Shamea said that, you know, she agreed with Portia. You know, we got people that's carrying around Birkins, driving Rolls Royce and Bentleys, and they doing it big, saying they got it all and doing it all. But they can't even, you know, really give when it needs to be given. Brit spoke up and said, well, I feel like you're shading me. And Shamea said, well, if I was shading you, you would know it. I'm not shading you. You would know if I was shading you.
The lies.
Brit said, well, I was the only one that pulled up with a Birkin bag and a Rolls Royce. And so Shamea said, listen, girl, I'm done with it. It is what it is. All I said is that God loves a cheerful giver to give what you want. And she said, yes, we did have that conversation. Don't you recall that conversation? And so Shamea got so upset, she kind of just left at that and went on. You know, Brit also called out Shamea for being passive aggressive earlier during their, you know, waiting time to come. Kelli shared that, you know, Brit did not give the best donation, and we're working on her to do better. Brit also felt attacked by Portia when she said that Portia, you know, and her had a little text message exchange. Portia didn't save her number. Portia asked who she was when there was a response in the chat. She doesn't feel like the ladies support her. And so, you know, Portia said, you haven't invited me to your house. You haven't texted me. So why do you feel like I should reach out to you? And so Brit just felt like that she wasn't being heard or understood. Well, by then, the prime minister is pulling up, okay? They going back and forth at the table, riff-raffing and going off. Shamea says, well, listen, can we dead this until later because the prime minister is pulling up, okay? So they calm down. The prime minister comes in. He greets everyone. He thanks the ladies for coming. Shamea says, well, listen, you don't just have to greet us. Sit down, eat, have a drink, do something. And so he agreed to sit down, and talk with the ladies. He shared with them, he's never visited Atlanta. Cynthia asked, had he ever visited Atlanta? He has not, but he's looking forward to do so. He asked when the best time was to come. They said anytime. Someone asked, does he have any children? He says he has children. He's not married, and he's the prime minister, and it keeps him busy. He thanked the ladies for coming. They took a toast, and so he went on about his business. The ladies sat behind and talked about how fine he was and who would be best the first lady for, for Grenada. I think Kelli was the overall vote for the ladies because the ladies said, he's single, girl. This would be a good opportunity for you. Well, I guess Brit was over in the corner hating because Brit said, well, I know a lot of married men that don't wear their wedding rings. Okay. And so Angela decided to speak up and say, yeah, Charles doesn't wear his. And we had to work that out in therapy. And so,
not therapy.
The ladies thought it was a kind of awkward comment to make.
Oh, God.
Well, in the moment of that comment, there was a cake coming out. And so Angela says, whose birthday is it? And so they begin to sing happy anniversary to Angela. They celebrate her 8th anniversary. It makes her very emotional because she was not with Charles and she would have rather have been with Charles. But, she was very glad that the ladies recognized her anniversary and supported her during that moment. So, we leave dinner. We're headed back to the house. The ladies are in the car, chit-chatting, talking. I'll stop here, Diva, because I don't want to get too far in before we forget anything. So let's review this dinner in the Grenada dinner part night 2.
Listen, the dinner was the dinner, right? Again, like I said, I just was done with Shamea really money shaming Brit. I just thought it was uncalled for. I really didn't like it. I thought it was very lowbrow. I just don't count anybody's pockets. And the fact that she gave. And if since you got so much money and she only gave $250 and you thought everybody's supposed to give $1,000, then kick in the other whatever the math is to make hers up to be, is it $750? Whatever it is, right? Put that in to make her thing up to $1,000 and let it go. And you don't tell anybody, you just let it go. The fact that you're going around for something that was so special, a charity, and you're telling everybody that someone in the group didn't live up to your expectations for the charity, I thought it was just messy. And that this girl is, listen, they all know who got money on that show for real, and who don't. So, and Drew, I remember the time, Drew, when they had that Christmas giveaway or whatever, and everybody's supposed to give $1,000 and Drew didn't have it. So I don't like it. I don't like when they do that. I thought it was messy. Angela and this husband, Charles, this whole thing is a circus. And like somebody put in the chat, it's painful. It's very painful. I just don't even know. And the reason why she was so grateful and crying when they gave that cake is because her own husband don't acknowledge her anniversaries. This man, legit Royaire, could have had something set up that she received flowers out there in Grenada talking about happy 8th anniversary. Even if she
Angela $2 million in debt. We can't
listen, even if she is $2 million in debt, listen, he could have did something. I just feel like their situation is very awkward. I felt like, she was very emotional about that because they was like, girl, you crying? Yeah, I mean, because I love you ladies. This is so nice. I'm just like, I said, wow, her husband doesn't really show her no love. I just want to fly to Atlanta and give her a hug and then fly right back home.
I can't.
Be like, we're here, Nikki. She is a bully. Be like, we're here for you, Angela. We're here for you. Keep your head up. I mean, I would literally, let me see if I got some points on my cards for your night.
I'm so damn.
I fly out in the morning, go find a hugger, and I'll fly right back home and do trending topics at night. I'm just saying. So, yeah, Shamea is a bully because she kept pressing that. And this, come on, Juice, thank you. I'll give her a hug for you, Diva. I appreciate you, Juice. Gonna save me a plane ticket ride. I know that's making a hug because this relationship, something ain't right. Something is wrong, Royaire. I know you know what it is. Yeah, no, right.
Girl,
everybody out there, give her a virtual hug. Put the hugs in the chat for Angela, because this is crazy. First, he didn't pick up the phone. That was tragic. I was like, if y'all don't do end scene already, she just wouldn't pick up the phone. I know she was.
Angela, you could call me, girl. I'll listen.
That part, yeah. Child,
and I won't tell.
Yeah, they got her that little cake. Listen. And the back and forth between Brit and Portia, like, I'm over it. You didn't invite me to your house. You didn't invite me. You didn't say my name in your phone. Like, stop.
Yeah.
I'm just done. This is just stupid.
But
Go ahead.
One thing that I said this at the beginning about Brit. Brit is the type of girl to me, and I said this from jump. If she's not the center of attention at all times, if things are not revolving around her, you know, it's a problem. And that has been consistent in this show. You know, if it wasn't a moment for Brit, she had to make it a moment about her. For example, the whole Kenya speaking to her, it was no reason to blow that out of proportion. She wasn't trying to shade your ring. She asked you about your ring. Like, the whole situation at the black girl dinner power thing, you made a whole scene about that. You know, now here we are making a scene at Drew at the dinner situation where Kelli had the brunch. I mean, it's just been something with Brit all this season long. So, you know, it does not, I don't feel like the charity thing should have been the thing that they got on her about, because that was just inappropriate. But I can understand their frustrations about Brit this season. I mean, she's just not been.
You ain't feeling Brit.
Oh, but I have not been feeling her since the beginning.
I know. You know what?
Your sisters ain't feeling you. We got a problem. Your own sisters.
Oh, well, okay. Wait, but Nita said Charles is a typical dude. Really?
I said this.
that he's very short talking in these episodes. Well, I guess because I really I don't know. I can't say. I don't know. I guess for some people he's a typical dude, but listen, your wife, this is not just your girlfriend, this is your wife. She's $2 million in the hole. Y'all both need to show up. You both need to show up. Y'all gotta do these scenes together.
He trying to do like Shamea's husband. He don't want to be a part. He don't want to be.
Shamea's husband got money. He got that HVAC, $1 million business.
Well, allegedly Charles got money too. He just don't want to get that in. Just look at
Monique, I feel sorry for her too. I appreciate you, Monique. We connected. We see each other. I feel sorry for her too.
Y'all need to go to Lens Crafter and get y'all see each other. And even, and I'll talk about this a little bit more at the show, once we finish our recap. But this whole lawsuit situation, this whole not showing up to the reunion, like, it's just too much. It's too much. It's you doing the most, ma'am.
Now let me do a Tasha K. Juice. Well,
let me tell you all the real on people like Charles. He's going to show real emotion to his wife because the mistress is watching these TV shows too.
Child. What's that wine brand out there in Grenada? I'm gonna have to order me a bottle.
Not Clark's, bro. Not Clark's rum court, okay, baby? You got to order you some Clark's rum, baby.
Yeah.
Woo! Charles is not going to show her real emotions.
Mm,
Wow.
mm, mm, mm. Child. Well, go ahead.
Mm. Yeah. So, we're headed back to the house after dinner. And so Britt is in the car complaining about, being in the hot seat and how the ladies are attacking her, and it's just not the night for her. And so Phaedra has to tell her, listen, girl, you self-sabotaging yourself. You making it worse than what it really is. You messed up. You made a mistake. Rule of thumb in these situations, when we on our level, give $1,000. That's what you do, boo. Stop thinking so deep about it. When you're in this group, you got to have all the friends you can get. So in order to be friendly, you got to make yourself friendly. Be friendly. If these girls say they want to come to your house, you better have you a charcuterie board ready, some glasses of wine, and tell the girls to come on over. Have a good time. Angela said, girl, you giving away all the jewels. When you going to write you a good old book about this? Because you're giving the good tea, okay? Well, while they're in the car having their little conversation, Shamea and Portia and Drew and Cynthia, they're having Kelli and Cynthia, they're having a, nice little fun ride home. And so Shamea gets a phone call from her husband. Excuse me, y'all. Sorry. Oh, God. Shamea gets a phone call home from her husband. Apparently, Shiloh was in the crib with no clothes on, no sheets. The air was down to 0, freezing the baby out. And so, what is his name? His name is...
What's her husband's name?
I keep forgetting it. It's oh, man. Somebody let us know in the chat, please. And it's on the tip of my tongue, too. Her husband, he is upset because he does not want Shiloh to get sick. He doesn't want her to go to the hospital. Shiloh, has a very low immune system. They didn't have the first birthday party for her because they were so scared for her to get sick. Because if she gets sick, it's a long process to heal up everything else that she's got going on. And so it was a very emotional, conversation for Shamea. So emotional that Gerald, thank you. It was very emotional for her, so emotional that, she cried, and her and Portia, they came together to, comfort her. Kelli was there. Cynthia was there. It was a comfort of our girl Shamea dealing with such a hard time right now. So Kelli called the ladies, Britt answered the phone and said, listen, girl, Shamea's got some family stuff going on. I think we just need to all kind of chill out tonight and kind of surround her and be here to support her. They all get to the house, and so Kelli felt that it would be good to pray for Shamea, so they all huddled around and they have a moment together. They help to make Shamea feel better. Britt has a moment of, Shamea to, come and apologize and said that she's here for her. She shares that what happened earlier really hurt her, but she wants Shamea to know that she's going to be here for her. We are your village. Though you're not in Atlanta, we are here for you, and everything's going to be okay. They decide to take shots together. Britt said, girl, I'm going to take a shot with you. She gets her shot. Then she decides she wants to pour some champagne, and so then she gets naked and takes off her top, exposing her boobs. All of the ladies are laughing and, enjoying the rest of the night, and that was the end of episode 14, chapter 2, Renew.
So... I thought that was a very touching moment, right? Hey Lawson, that was a very touching moment. And I like the way, and I know y'all could continue to hate on her, but I have to say, I really like the way Britt handled it. Although her and Shamea haven't been getting along, here it is, a dark moment for Shamea. She went and spoke to her. She said, I'm here for you. I don't care what went on in our past. She said, and to even make amends, she was like, I'll take a shot with you. Right. And it's like, I don't know. I just felt like I felt like, and then for Shamea to shade her in the confessional after that, I'm like, yo, this girl is just, she just doesn't get it to me. Like, this girl, she says she doesn't drink shots like that. And your daughter is sick, and she knows how emotional this was for you. And for her to take a shot with you and do all of this, and you to still act a whole fool afterwards, I don't know. I just thought it was messy of Shamea, but it just showed me a lot about. Yeah, it was very nice of Shamea. It just showed me a lot about. Of Brit. It just showed me a lot about Shamea's character. So you're saying it was fake though? Well, whether I don't know if it was fake. I felt like they all were crying in a moment, and they all felt for Shamea. I'm not gonna say that. I just feel like, I mean, if you don't like Brit, then everything she do is, you're gonna find some fault in it and say it wasn't favorable.
Yeah, because I found fault in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt for her. I really did.
I felt like she took a moment about Shamea and tried to make it about her yet again. Like, we've already went over that your feelings was hurt. We already went over that you felt like nothing was resolved. Like, this is not the moment for you to be like, it's about you. Like, this is about Shamea. This is a moment, not even about Shamea. This is about Shiloh, really. It's really about Shiloh, because Shiloh is the one that's really in this situation, having to deal with all of these unfortunate issues that if she does get sick, so many other things will happen. So I felt that she should have been like the rest of the ladies, been there to comfort and sat back and stayed in your place. You know, Portia is the bestie. Let Portia speak up and say something. Kelli is, the next close. Yeah. I love that she said that we are your village and all of this stuff, but for you to bring back up that this hurt me and da 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 da, this is not your moment, honey. We'll come back to your moment at a later date.
But not now.
And that's not even just with Brit. If Drew would have came in there talking about, this whole lapdog, we ain't talking about that right now. We are dealing with Shiloh and her health issues, and we need to be praying for Shiloh and for her parents' strength to push through this and find someone that is actually going to be beneficial for Shiloh and not getting her sick because y'all don't want to cover her up and wrap her up and swaddle her.
Yeah. And as much money as they pay for,
nursing care around the clock.
Yeah. Yeah.
She would be fired.
That part. That part.
But that was our final scene for this episode. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. At the end of each episode, we like to get your ratings on the episode on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. What are you rating episode 14, season 6, chapter 2, Renew? Auntie, and then we'll go through those in just a moment. Auntie, your final thoughts and opinion and rating.
You know what? Because I always I be thinking, and then I see somebody throw something in the chat. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm feeling that. I'm gonna give it an 8.
Okay.
Because I like the fact that they're in Grenada. I like the fact that it's not a whole bunch of like just ridiculous rah-rah fights, right? It's seeming for the most part, it's like a smooth thing going on. I like the 2 different excursions that they went on. Some went cooking, some went here. I would have gave it more if Brit had some food to eat at the cooking session, okay? But since she didn't, I had to take some points off, right? I like the way everybody came together at the end for Shamea. I like that, Portia wasn't petty. Shamea's luggage was lost, and she gave Shamea the best dress to wear. Dress was better than Portia dress that she wore. Now, I think it was Lorraine that said that the dress Portia had on was cuter in person, like close up. I don't know. Do you see that dress on her Instagram? Because I feel like the yellow was given. The yellow was given on Shamea. But Shamea has beautiful. I think her complexion is just flawless. It's beautiful. And that yellow was just popping on her. But if I see what's the name?
Portia's
dress up close, I'll feel differently. But I feel like, you know, who won that outfit of the day was definitely Shamea. Shamea just be slaying the streets with that skin and everything. She got to get that attitude in order.
I get the attitude in order. Okay. I'm giving this episode an 8 as well. I thought it was a good episode. You know, it was definitely, you know, some tea spilled. It was definitely, you know, some trash talking. You know, it was a good episode. I enjoyed it. I wasn't bored at any point. You know, it was very cringy to watch Angela and Charles. So I would give it a little higher than that, but that's the only reason why I'm not, because those two scenes were cringing, both of them. The one that he didn't answer the phone and the one that he did answer.
Child, you know what? He might as well have not just answered the phone again
at all. Like, just don't even answer.
It was terrible. It was terrible. And how do you feel about Angela's, like, her outfits and everything? How you feeling? You feeling good? You quiet.
I can't recall. Oh, okay.
That's a phone call. Why would she put that picture of her on her Instagram?
Embarrassing.
He was like, "Don't you love me?" I don't know. I'm just like,
child.
It's like Angie. I don't know about Charles.
She has an interesting style. Ever since Phaedra said it, I just can't get it. Now, I love this. This
is gorgeous.
Yes. But ever since Phaedra said it, I can't get it out of my head. And no shade, Angela, we love you. But she is the oldest, young and looking woman that I've ever seen before. Like,
yeah, she has her moments. Like, this is a cute picture of her. I don't know. I guess she's gonna grow on us.
And she looked like she 50. Like, look at this.
She does. Is you think it's maybe the way she's styling herself and dressing? I don't know.
It's the face. Like,
Let me stop sharing. Yeah, and that's her page. That's her page.
Okay, Miss Piggy. So Lisa is giving it an 8. Monique is giving it a 6 for Charles. Margold is giving a 7. Espar is giving it an 8.5. Katrina is giving it an 8 because the ladies gave Angela a cake. I thought that was very nice and very genuine. I thought that was really, really nice and genuine of the ladies to do. Whoever did that or came up with that idea, I thought that was very beautiful. You know, to have to be away for your 8-year anniversary, that's tough. You know?
Well, you know what? It wouldn't have mattered if she was home.
You are too much tonight. I can't. Snoopy is giving it a 7.5. All righty. Janet is giving it a 6. Okay. All right. Well, listen, before we go, people, thank you so much for participating. Feel free to continue to leave your ratings down in the chat. Remember to hit the like button on both of our channels, Royaire's World and Chronicles of the Grey-Haired Diva. If you're not a subscriber, make sure you subscribe as well. You know, before we get out of here, Diva, we got to deal with some news.
Come on, talk.
Okay, so the seating chart came out for RHOA last week. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, we were supposed to have a full cast set. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we had a partial cast. We have Portia and Shamea sitting top head next to Andy, which of course, as they should. You know, and in regards to their friendship issue that they had this year, you know, I feel like that was a really valid reason as well. You know, Shamea is the girl that the friendship group was centered around at the beginning of the show. So if you may, she's like the Nene Leakes of the season. You know, Nene Leakes was normally centered around everybody in the show. And so Shamea is at top head. We have Angela coming up next. And I think Angela had to come up next because the people want to talk about this marriage situation. Okay. We have questions, Angela, and we need answers. Next up, we have Kelli. And then after that, we had Drew. Now, people were a little confused about the Drew and Kelli seating spot. They felt that Drew was disrespected by getting last chair. But at the same token, Drew really didn't bring too much to the season this year, other than her divorce and her music.
Listen, Royaire. My husband better find me little English horse. My husband better find me wherever I'm at.
Not 1-800-Flowers. We have Phaedra on the left side over here, and then Cynthia. So we do have Brit Edie missing. Brit Edie decided not to show up to the reunion.
The girls hate her. The girls hate her. It was going to be a jump on Brit show. So she said, nah, I ain't showing up.
How many reunion shows have we had in the 16 years? How many people have had their time to get jumped on in the 16 years?
Well, that's true. That's true.
The camera can't show what you don't give it. And that's one of your words, Auntie.
Well, that you ain't never lied. You better tell me what I said.
And you put on a show on this show, Brit. You came through with your lies.
Oh my God, not the lies.
Your meals with no meals.
My goodness.
Golfing on the golf course, don't know where, how to golf, where to golf, what to do. Unpaid bills to the office. Your husband out here sleeping with other people allegedly. Brit showed a lot this season. And we need some answers. But not only did she not decide to show up, she has now also decided to file a $20 million lawsuit against NBC and Bravo for defamation of character. Now, last I checked, Diva, and the rules may have been updated, but I believe the lady said, that you sign away your likeness, your image, what you say and do.
You do.
So I'm a little curious of exactly what her plan is. Can you maybe expound on that for us?
Well, here's the thing. When they sign those contracts, it pretty much said no matter what happens in the scene, we can cut it up and show it whatever way we can. We can show the beginning at the end or the end at the beginning or whatever we want to do. So when you hopefully when you sign up for these shows, get yourself a good check because you never know how it's going to go down and what's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, I think Brit should have showed up for the reunion, but she didn't show up because she knew she was suing them. So I don't know how this is going to pan out against her.
I can tell you how it's going to pan out. She need to reach out and pick up the phone and call Nene and ask Nene how it's going to pan out.
Well, you see, you're going to get off this line. You said the blueprint for that has already been written?
It has been written, completed, and sent back and returned. And denied, okay?
And then I think maybe it was on one of Nene's podcasts. She's saying all is well with her and Bravo now.
That's what she's saying. It was yes. That they're back working together lightly. They're dating one another. And maybe one day there may be an appearance back on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. But she said that they are good people. She's glad to be working with them.
Oh, now they're good people. They're not racist no more?
All their racist ways are gone.
You stupid.
They're gone down the drain. The door is open, honey. Okay.
The door is open. We good. Child.
Listen, y'all, we appreciate each and every one of y'all for joining us here tonight to recap the Real Housewives of Atlanta episode 14. Shout out to the rewatch crew. If you have not hit the like button, make sure you hit the like button on your way out. And if you're not a subscriber, make sure you subscribe to Royaire's World and Chronicles of the Gray Head Diva. Please join Diva tonight around 8:30 for trending topics. I'm sure there's plenty to talk about. Also, be sure to join us on Thursday as we are now recapping Next Gen NYC. We did recap that first episode last week, so if you missed it, go back and catch that replay. Hit the like button on that video, and then join us Thursday as we will be recapping episode 2 of Next Gen NYC, which I really, really enjoyed it, Diva, and I got some great feedback on my channel about it, so looks like the people are enjoying it as well.
Yeah, it's a good show. Listen, y'all, thank y'all so much for being here. We love y'all. Like Royaire said, hit that like button. See us again on Thursday. Good night and goodbye, everybody.
Good night, everybody.